Our nation needs to realize the importance of the social contract. Patriotism, sovereignty, key principles we keep talking about can never be achieved by people in disagreement. It is painful. It is disheartening. It is a disgrace to the family of nations, to the world at large, to see the children of Zimbabwe fighting and divided, polarized, celebrating our own calamities, denigrating one another, and worst of all, hoping that this nation will be built on the ashes of a fighting people, on the ashes of two major parties who, instead of looking at each other as alternatives in terms of governance, they want to bring an end to each other in the hope that that kind of disunity, that kind of destruction will bring peace, will bring prosperity. I would like to talk to the President and His Excellency. While we celebrate and while we stand with you in engaging the international community, in attracting investment, and indeed in talking about a new dispensation, we cannot do this in isolation of the collectiveness of Zimbabweans. It is your duty, Your Excellency, to get the country to find each other. And how do we find each other? We find each other because there is trust. We find each other because there is justice. We find each other because there is oneness of purpose. We find each other because there is tolerance. We find each other above all because there is accountability and there is transparency. Corruption, it is a scourge which cannot be talked away, which cannot be driven away by mere appointment of eloquent officials who do press conferences and tell us what they are going to do. Corruption is a scourge that will be fought collectively with the people standing behind the authorities in condemning and bringing down that which is destroying society. We will talk more about what can be done, but leadership is about trust. Leadership is about getting people together. To our opposition, we cannot be an opposition that takes the literal meaning of opposition. Opposition in a democracy is about alternative policy. What comes before opposition is the national interest. What comes before opposition is one identity, is one destiny, is the common interest of the people. We are a country divided to an extent that some among us would celebrate offensive policies from foreign nationalities, would even celebrate sanctions against our own people, would even celebrate even the mere prospect of a military intervention, the bloodshed of Zimbabweans. We long for that. That is not the intent and purpose of an opposition party. In times of foreign attack, we stand as one people. In times of being isolated from the economic affairs of this country, we stand as one people, regardless of what might be behind that isolation, because it can never be a remedy. The collective isolation of Zimbabwe, the collective attack on Zimbabwe, under whatever context, cannot be acceptable to anyone that calls themselves Zimbabwean.